I'm finishing up this Baby Dylusions. I call it a baby because it's their smallest one. And I wanted to show you how I use the Dylusions ink sprays in here. If I can find, there it is. I want to tell you what size this is in case you have questions. It's like an 8 by 5. And this is my least favorite size, although I love the paper in it. Yeah, this size is just a bit too small for me. Used to, that's all I wanted to work in. The larger sizes intimidated me. And now, this is just, it's not a favorite. I mean, it's fine, but anywho, I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to make something similar to this and show you how I like to use these Dylusions inks. And you can see these sprays, I mean, even just filling it on the page, it feels super smooth. And these, where I used watercolors on it, it feels smooth, but it's still a different texture to it. And the richness and the way the color absorbs into the page, this almost looks kind of gritty. And this is just, it bleeds out in a way that's just, it melts into the page. I don't even know how to describe it other than that. Let me see. And I know the watercolors you choose to use makes a difference, but I use a lot of Core watercolors, Daniel Smith watercolors, so really good ones. And just the texture on the pages, just it looks different than this. This just looks soft. Anywho, I'm on the very last page, and I'm gonna make a page. Let me see. Let me look at this again. I was just curious if I need to make this page, because I think sometimes I'll smush it, but I won't do that here. But I've got crushed grape, and this one is vanilla custard, are the two colors I'm going to use. And if I use another one, I'll try to remember to say. But with these, I'm just going to start out by unscrewing the lid and dropping some on the page, just really scribbling it. Just these big flower petal swooshy marks. Now I'm going to bring a water brush in, watercolor brush. This one's a, what size is this? Size 4, so it's not too big. Just dab some bunch of water and let it kind of drip a doodle. I think that last one I may have just squirted up. Squirt on the page. I'm going to try that instead. This sprayer, there, I needed some color. You can use these a whole bunch of different ways. I'll try to explain to you some that I use. See, now that this is still a bit wet, I'm just gonna move some of the color around now. Create like a little border at the top. And then leave that. You can see this crushed grape is one of my favorites, because you can see where you dilute it with more water, it gets a pretty pink color. And I like the way using this, and I got a puddle over here. It's making a mess. I like the way it, using that tube, the little tube on the inside there, kind of catches the page. It kind of almost stuttered and slung some paint off right here. Yeah, and this is one of those, I don't remember if it's a Ranger mat. It's that like silicone type craft mat. So like this puddle, oh, it's not in frame very good. There's a little puddle underneath here. I hate to even waste that because I love it so much, but I'll even let it dry on the mat and then re-wet it later with a brush. Yeah, something's going on with this sprayer, because I'm going to be a hot mess for work today. Purple dye. Anyway, I'm going to dry that. I don't think I'm going to add more down here this time. like I did on the other page. Try not to touch all this stuff. See, I did 2 here, but maybe I should. It looks really good. I'll do something a little different. Anywho, look what I just did. I'm gonna dry this and be right back. Okie dokie, and I think instead of adding the face on this part of the page, should I put her face over here? And doing half of a face is so much easier, y'all, because then you don't have to worry about getting the eyes all matchy-matchy. But I don't know if I want to add the face over here and do some words, or if I want to put the face over here. Let's go ahead and put it over here. I'm right-handed, so right eye is easier. Let's see. Where do I want you? Down low, up high. I need to see some of the eyes, so I'll just start off like that. And I've been watching other artists, how they do their eyes, and kind of observing more, studying a little more of how instead of doing a whole half circle here, just putting 2 little arches on either side, leaving this bottom open. Even when you do the shading or whatever around the eye, it gives it a livelier look, I guess. I don't know, but it just looks so good. And right now, I don't know if this eye is very visible, but I'll go in with a darker lid. And maybe you can see, or should I zoom in? Should I attempt it? I'm probably going to screw up all my settings. Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, maybe that's better. But once I do this little arch here with the inside part of the eye, I kind of follow this circle, part of the circle, and then follow this one, so it looks like a round eyeball. And I've learned a lot since my other faces. I've still got a lot to learn. Don't know it all. But I've learned a lot by watching others lately and just observing. Okay. I didn't sleep very good last night, so my thoughts are like my brain's not awake yet. Totally. Okay, I'm going to come down from this tear duct and eyeball it a little bit. I'll give it a little more of an upturned, sharp nose, I think. We'll see. I've been playing around with different lip shapes too. Some of them I don't care for. Let's see, where's that purple lipped girl? She's closer. Where the heck is she? Gosh, is she that far back? I don't know. I'll do a flip through of this one too, because it's, yep, her face is good, I think, but her lips kind of threw her off. But I kind of like them. I like different, but these kind of M shape that I've been doing for a while, kind of I keep going back to. It feels more natural and it matches. I think matches the faces that I'm doing a little better. There, so once we have that done, I'm not going to draw the whole, well, maybe I should. Side of the face in. There. You can see it somewhat. I'm going to pull out my, and I think I say that right, Sennelier. You don't say Sennelier, do you? A lot of people mention my southern drawl. It almost prevented me from doing videos because I was worried that people would think I sounded like a complete hick. But it is who I am. It is what it is. Okie dokie. So I think I'm going to shade a little bit with the stump. Kind of pull it out a little bit. Maybe you'll be able to see it better. Ooh, I got that nose way too far over to the right. Do I need to fix it? Let's see. Yep, it needs to be moved. Sorry, y'all. I wasn't paying that much attention to that part of it. Yep, it needs to be over. Because when you shave this part, it really kind of goes down into that diggity right here. Alright, that's better. Even her jawline looks a little better now. I had it a bit wonky. There. Now, when you do that little dip, that shading part of the nose and go up, that looks better, if that makes any sense to you. I try to keep watching this camera because I don't know if it's just all of them have a little set timer. If you're go over a certain time, it cuts off or what. But anywho, what I'm doing here is just kind of shading it in with this pencil, and then I'll go over it with this watercolor and give the shading part some color. And this is just something I prefer to do. You don't have to do pencil first. You can just go right in with color and shade it in. I'm tempted to try instead of... Nope, I'm going to use this first because these, I haven't played enough with these colors to find the right kind of honey brown, which like a burnt sienna type color. I haven't been able to make that with any mixes of that yet. So I'm going to add that in, and what I may do right now is just go in with a light coat of this and then go back in and drop some heavier color in certain areas to warm it up a bit. Do you guys prefer to see these colors or not? Like, see what I'm grabbing off my palette, or does it matter? I'm used to having this on my right. Holy crap, Pamela. But I do have this pretty wet. And this paper, just know if you have any trouble with it, I don't know that it was really designed for watercolor. Let's turn this around. There's a little learning curve to it when you compare it to watercolor paper, but I absolutely love it. You have to work fast and you can't overwork it. If you work in a wet spot too hard for too long, it definitely will start tearing the paper up. I did that yesterday. That's one reason why I didn't share on Instagram yesterday. I was so frustrated. Now some of this purple Dylusions will reactivate and mix with this color. I personally love the effect it gives. I like that messiness back there, but I'm going to darken in the colors and pull her forward a little bit more. Okay, so since this is wet, I'm just totally, this big palette is a little annoying. I'm so used to the smaller palettes. What I may need to do is pull some of these colors out that I like and put it in a smaller one. but you can't see it. But back here, this Dylusions has a puddle under it. I'm gonna put some on my watercolor brush and go around this outer edge. And if this isn't dark enough, and it's not, I'll put some more color in here in a second. And I like it to kind of just be a loosey-goosey look. Now, let's see. There was too much water in that mix to get it as dark as I want it. Let me see if I can pull some more of it up. Oh, this lighting's terrible today. This palette's completely in my way. Sorry, y'all. I'm like totally wonky today. I want this like super dark. Like that kind of dark. So I'm just gonna, well, see, that sprayer's not working. It just stripped out, but it's okay. I got back up. If I have to use the other one and then pour this one into it, I'm fine with that. I love those inks. I don't know how far up I want to come with that. I think that's as far as I want to go. Now what I want to do is, with that, I'm going to add some of that. Theirs is burnt sienna, but it's not. The colors are different between makers. It's not the burnt sienna I'm used to. But I like it. It's pretty. I'm just going to add a little bit of that and dab it out. And if you work really wet and put these colors in it, kind of drop those colors in it, it leaves nice little puddly marks on this page. And I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to let this dry, and, or I'm going to dry it. I don't have time to let it dry. I'm going to dry it up and be right back. I think that's dry enough. I'm going to go back in here and deepen this color up a bit. I may grab a little of this purple. And that's why you'll see little spots. Well, I don't know if you'll see them on here, but I got little spots of this where it's dried on this mat, and I don't clean it off because I can always re-wet it. I'm going to add a little bit of this purple in here and pull it out, kind of work fast. Because if you let it sit too long, it kind of, I guess, dye the page. Kind of stains it is what I'm looking for. In that one area, and you don't want to see those like that. You don't want to see that brush stroke. So it's too slow there. And see, I'm working that spot, and that's getting to a danger zone with that paper, because it will kind of mess it up. And I do know the wetter you kind of use this stuff, if you dab instead of pulling the brush on the paper, it works better. You don't damage the paper as much. And I'm going to give her purple lips too, just like that other one, because it just looks so good. That other one got I think a lot more likes than some of my other art, so I thought it would be a good page to kind of share how I use these inks. See, I'm just kind of touching that paint in. I'm not really painting it. Mercy, I'm not completely off with paint. There, so I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to bring some more of that burnt sienna in here too, because I want her face to be richer. Stand out even more. out and blending it is all I'm doing here. And where that had a big wet puddle, I dry my brush off and push it into it. It kind of softens that line. I'm going to turn it and add some here. And see, it doesn't take long to do these little pages. A little bit of color in here. Cute. Now, should I do her eye in purple too? See if I can find some more. Did I use it all up? This is the part I was telling you where, one thing's blinking. Hold on, let me stop it, restart it, so it don't cut off on me. This is the part where I don't fill in that whole iris. I started, and that was super recent, just doing like part of it, not all of it, not going to the whole underside, leaving that part kind of white right at the very bottom of the iris. And then I'm going to put the darker color right up against that upper lid so it gives the appearance of a shadow. Even dabbing a little bit of lines here and there gives you that iris look. So I'm going to let this dry and then go back in with some shading on it. But she's almost done. Won't be much more to do. Let me dry this. I'll be right back. It's not completely dry, but it's okay. I don't know what's going on with that sprayer. I wasn't doing that before. So I'm going to have a pretty dry brush and pick up that color where it makes it a little bit heavier. And just go heavier on the color right up around the top. Almost like a triangle shape here. I think there's something about triangles for me. You know. So what I'll do is let this dry really good now, and then I'm going to go back over all of it with a pencil and shade it. But I don't know why my girls seem to have these fat jowls. Jowls. I don't like this rounded. I wonder if I should cut some of it off. I like a more squared, a little bit of a squared jaw, slimmer. It's probably because I got fat jaws. Here, I think she needs to be thinner, y'all. So let's get a little bit more of this. Let's see if we can't blend it. I'm going to use a smaller brush this time instead of my big one. An almost dry brush so I get more constituted color, more, is that even the right word? Told y'all, pick. Straight up, pick. Yep, there. Might be able to see that a little bit, but if it dries lighter, I can always go back in and fix that. Try to. Cool. So I'm gonna let this dry, come back in with pencil and shade, and then I'll probably do some words over here. Okay. Okay, so I was just using a regular old zebra pencil, and I think it probably has HB lead in it. I think all of them kind of come that way. Now I'm going to grab a 4B, sharpen it just teensy weensy bit, and then darken this in. Now one thing, if you don't like, when your paper is turned where you can kind of see a glare on it, this does leave a shiny, in the light you'll be able to see this graphite. It gives a sheen to the paper, so when your paper's turned a certain way, you definitely see it. Some people won't care for that, I don't think. This is my art journal, it's all good. Maybe she's going to pop out at you a little more now that this darker lid's on here. And I like to, I'm going to shade up under this lid, kind of pull some of that color that I just did the top lid with. I'm going to pull it down into the eyeball to give that little shaded area. And some of it I'll pull out to give the eye a little more depth, just kind of blend it out. Ooh, now she's looking real rich. And if you get too much, like sometimes I'll get a streak from that stump, just erase it off. I think that looks okay. Like that's a little heavy, but I don't know if I'll leave that or not. There. I need to take some of this off. And sometimes I think it's so cute to have a little dimple. We'll leave her a dimple. How about that? My boys have dimples when they smile. So cute. Now one other thing you can do, if you can find a marker that's worth the snot, I have tried them all. And I guess it may be user error on my part where I use it on certain surfaces and it messes up the nib. It's probably my fault, but this is just a cheap painter's one. I think they have them at Walmart. And sometimes you got to get it going before it's almost like it has just a clear liquid in the beginning. Now I'm going to go over a little bit of this white of her eye, but this purple will come back through it because that dye is just so, may even make this whole thing pink. Here it is. I'd be better off doing a little bit of gesso on this, but it still comes back through. I think I will pull that gesso out though. Put a little bit on it. Pat that off. It doesn't need but a teensy weensy bit. I need to clean the lid on this thing. It's getting nasty. Being nasty. I keep avoiding it. Like a house chore. Let me make sure I grab a different brush. I don't want to use my watercolor brushes, so I'm just going to get a little bit of this white on this rinky-dink brush. It's rinky-dink now. It's been abused. I'm going to try to put a little bit of this gesso around this part. Not being too peculiar. I like the looseness. I tend to want to have everything a little perfect and matchy-matchy. But when I do the looser play and everything's kind of scruffy and grungy, I really like it better. Just trying to pull a little bit of that white out. And then I'll put just a little bit right here in the lip. Maybe somewhere on those. Should I put somewhere on those? So it pulls her out a little more. Now, you see what I just did? Because I did that, I got to do it all over. That's okay. I didn't plan on that, but it'll be okay. This gesso will kind of pull her out a little more. Give her some highlights. Okay. And I'll probably I'm gonna post this on Instagram today because it's so similar to the other one. I used up all that gesso, so I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna leave her alone. She's a little different now than the other one, but that's okay. Sometimes I'll soften that outer edge a little bit because I don't like the harshness of a flat line. But now sometimes I'll either draw lines off to the side or just scribble. I tend to like the lines, and I'll just eyeball them. Sometimes I'll let my hand kind of follow the line on here to kind of keep it straight, so I get a feel for where I'm at. If I'm touching it with this part of my hand and kind of keeping that line. And I do like the scribbly writing because, you know, some people want to know what they're journaling about. Sometimes I do, but for the most part I share a lot of this. I don't care if I remember what was on it or not. Good morning.
Morning, love.
Did you sleep good?
Not really.
I didn't either.
My back, my hands.
Oh, I'll be done here in just a second.
Look, Gabby went out and brought and found this.
Do what? Are you serious? When did she take that out?
She just went out there and found it, pulled it out.
She's something else. But anywho, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'll come back and add some writing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and date it. But that's how I love to use Dylusions inks. I'll use it as a watercolor. And I didn't even use this vanilla custard. A lot of times instead of the watercolor here, and I should I go in and add some of it? Now I feel bad because I didn't use it. You know what? I'll do it just to show you what this yellow does. I'm not a yellow person at all. At all. I don't care for yellow very much, but watching other artists lately, I started using it. And you might say, oh my god, she's fixing to totally muck it up. But look how just that little bit of yellow makes it look a little bright. It kind of gives her a light, like a little bit of sunshine to her face. Just a little bit here and there, not a lot. And that you can tell where that gesso, it's giving a little bit of resist there. I'm cool with that. And a little bit on her nose. See, that does warm her back up. Cool. I'm glad I did that. I like it better. Yep, and while I got some on the page, I'll just splatter some around since I got some left over is what I was meaning. Cool. I just did look up and see that. Almost missed it. Move that a little heavier there. Alright, now I will be done. And that's what my final one looks like. There. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any requests, comments, whatever, leave them below. I thank you for watching. Have a great day.